This is when the Colts had Peyton Manning waiting there because he didn't come out the year before because Parcells, our brilliant head coach, decided not to tell Archie Manning he couldn't guarantee that he would take his kid first. It's just the stupidest thing. History could have been totally different for us, Jets fans. But it's not. And it sucks because Parcells is one of the greatest coaches we've ever had, if not the greatest. So how can you complain? You can't. I hate that prison cell. I hate it. I want to yell. I want to bitch about it. But I can't because Parcells was good. Traded back. Got James Farrier and Dedrick Ward out of that one. That's what I think. We are happy, la 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 la. What's up, everybody? This is GreenBean with our not so daily 3:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream. I am happy that you are here. I am happy that I am here. It's an interesting day for me. I'm not usually able to do what I've been doing today, which is kind of neat. And maybe I'm doing what some of you guys do. I have been able to I'm working on my computer in the studio all day. I'm taking care of stuff, loose ends, marketing, all kinds of different things. And I've just had Jets content guys on all day. I did the podcast this morning. So as soon as I was done, I went to YouTube. Buffalo was just starting. Listened to Buffalo. I was on that stream when Mike White cleared news came. We talked about that. Then I went from there straight to Jay Gassman. He was talking about it. Then I went from there. O'Leary started. Hey, let me go hang out with Matt O'Leary. And then the Robert Saleh press conference. I went in there. I saw Robbie Oak. I saw Snowball and some others. Hennessy, I think, was in there. And I said, you know what? Why not? Let me go live. So 10 minutes ago, I made this stream. Jets Mess. It's an interesting thing, Jets Mess. I was just telling Jeremy via text a few minutes ago. I was just about to hit go live, and I said it's the first time that no one's in the chat in a long time. Like usually you guys get here a few minutes, and if you chat before the stream starts, I come in and you're already here. It was the first time that no one was in here in almost 2 years. And then right before I was going to hit live, I mean, my finger was up. I was about to click. Jets Mess popped in. Hey, I said, oh, hey, look, I said, hey, buddy. So thank you for keeping the streak alive, Jets Mess. Curly Norman's in here. The football gods, Curly. We're going to talk about the football gods today, I think. Andy's in here. What's up with you? Hey, psyched. There he is. There he is. Good to see you, Jeremy. Jeremy might stop by later. We'll see if you could do that. Jerome's in here. What's up, Jerome? Tyler, what's up, Tyler? Good to see Tyler. Mahit, let me see. Mahit's Tolosi. I always have to stop and read that. Maybe I'll get to a point one day when I could just flow through it, buddy. But I'm glad you're here nonetheless. Vafadoost is in the house. What's up, man? Wayne's here. Snowball. I saw Snowball in the Sala. There you are, right? I just said that. I saw you in there. Iron Flag Tim, hello. Jacob Finnegan's in here. Bean Boy. That's funny. There, look, all the beanbaggers are popping in. Finnegan and Vafadoost and Mo Lake. I shouldn't call you Mo Lake, Ron, because Mo Lake, we got a bad rep with the Mo Lake around here. You're Ron Mo Lake. Louiso. Yeah, right. So I was kind of hanging out with you all day then, Ron. It's good. Jerome's in here. Darren. I saw Hawk around today. I don't know if Hawk was in the Sala. I think I saw you in Jake's show. Maybe. Pickle Pants is here. Super Leroy. Scott. Look at you guys. And Cassidy. Dude, so let's talk about this. Now, we learned today a pretty damn big news, man. And like Hawk is saying, potentially a miraculous turnaround. And it's for really interesting reasons. So we've had a couple of we had a rough month and a half, man. Really, we lost 5 of 6 games, coming in to the bye at 6-3 on a high, beating the division leading Buffalo Bills. We were buzzing. We come out, we lose one, we win one. So, okay, if that's the way it's got to be, all we got to do is win 3 or 4 after the bye, really. And we're good. And then it's like, The games that we lost, the Vikings and the Bills game, really close, like could have had them, like really could have had them, like dropped a friggin' touchdown pass, could have had them. Excuse me. So it was like, we were right there, the whole thing, and it just since then it's like the bottom just fell out, and it's been grim. It's highlighted by that damn Jaguars game. I mean, the Lions was a heartbreaker because we had it, right? But the Jaguars game was like, it was as if we were watching the Adam Gase Jets. It was as if we were watching last year's Jets. We haven't felt like that all year. The only other time we did was the second Patriots game. Both games where we scored 3 points. And, going into this weekend, into the Christmas holiday and Hanukkah and everything, it was like miserable. And then what happens? For 2 weeks in a row, guys, everything that we needed to happen with the other teams out there, everything happened. Everything. Like 6 different games went the way that we needed it to go over the last 2 weeks. Now, tonight, with the Chargers game, if that goes our way, if the Chargers lose, that even creates a scenario that if the Patriots don't lose one game, we can still get in. So we got to really do whatever karmic, deposits you've made, pull them tonight, man. Pull on them, okay? Because we want the Chargers to lose tonight. That's what we want. So then today we're all like, all right, well, that's really great. All we have to do is win out. All we got to do is win out, which is not easy, but I'm saying like that's in our control. And then the Pats got to lose one game to the Dolphins and the Bills. Now, the scary part about that is that the Bills could be resting starters last game of the year, and that would be sucky, but they might get a free pass on that one, or at least help. So that's spooky. It's spooky. But if they lose one of those and we win out, we're in. And that's pretty damn good considering how we all felt after the Jaguars game. It was like, it's over, right? Today, we're all like, all right, but who the hell, how are we going to win out? Fucking Streveler? I mean, really, it's exciting. It's an X factor. Wild card. I'm okay. Flacco, Zach. Like, you don't feel really all that good about any of those. And we're hoping that Mike White can play. And today we get the news that he can. He was cleared. Now, Robert Saleh said in his press conference, they were asking him, and whatever. That's all. I'll leave all that bullshit that I have in my head aside. They asked him, was it the team doctor that cleared him? Or was it one of the 10 outside second opinion doctors that got him? Hold on. Excuse me. I'm still sickish, so I apologize. But so Saleh says, hey, look, it doesn't matter who it was because the team doctor still has to sign off. He could have got 10 second opinions, and if the team doctor doesn't sign off, it's still not going to matter. The team doctor has to sign off. So ultimately it was a team doctor, but it did sound like maybe one of the other doctors said, hey, I'm good with this. And then they kind of worked. That's the vibe I picked up, but I could be wrong. No matter how you slice it, Mike White is cleared and Saleh has committed to him as the starter, which I think is really, really good, man. I think that's best case scenario because we are going to need competent quarterback play. And I think the team needs a little bit of a shot in the arm. Kind of how when Streveler came in, like clearly he wasn't, he wasn't looking like a top tier NFL quarterback, namely the one damn pass to Uzomah. I mean, that was a free touchdown, dude. To any, middle of the road, competent NFL quarterback, that's a free touchdown. Just throw it. Do it like you do in high school. Do it like you do in fucking Sundays with your family, with the kids. Just throw it. And he couldn't. Now we got a first down, nice completion, but come on. So even with that little shot in the arm, that boosted the team and gave us some life. But getting Mike White back, which don't forget, the last time that he played is when he came in with the broken ribs and came back in and, clawed back to the team is going to respond to this, in my opinion. At least it gives us the opportunity to have that burst. And that's exciting, man. That's exciting. Going into this last 2 weeks of the season, you know what I think? I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm going to tell you what I think. And I want to just disagree with Mr. Terrible Takes one more time before I do it. Because it's so easy to do. Not that you're wrong all the time, Mr. Terrible Takes, but I disagree with you often. So that's where it stands. I'm wrong sometimes. I'll admit that. But I disagree with this. This is all about making the playoffs. The idea of giving up to draft position, dude, we're already in we're 17th or some shit like that. 18th to 22 or 18th to 14. Dude, please. It is what it is. Let's give this team the idea that even after a collapse, you can turn it around and get in the dance and let us play Buffalo first game. Hell yeah, dude. Those were 2 one-score games. One of them we won. The other one we could have, if not for the CJ Mosley craziness. Dude, Mr. Terrible, think about that. Remember the CJ Mosley, the offside attempt? Draw him offsides and CJ Mosley bit. I know why he bit. I get it. But they laughed. They were like, yeah, they couldn't believe that. Holy shit. Not only did they do it and give us the first, but the brains of the defense did it. It was that much sweeter. So I'd love to get Buffalo. Dude, and then we can win one. I mean, the idea that you're not a Super Bowl team, so why even get in the playoffs? I'm not there anymore. I'm not. I want to win games. If the Jets become, and this is what we were talking about last season, right? Which is why we're in this kind of situation now where it's hard to remember what we asked for because we feel so grim. But what we asked for, a lot of us were talking, and one of the things I said was, I don't need the Jets to be the Patriots and win 6 Super Bowls. I'm totally cool with that, but I don't need that. What I need and what I desire and crave is the Ravens, a team that is, or the Steelers, right? They're always in the mix. They are always a team that plays hard, competitive. They're never getting blown out. And if they do, it's 1 game in 2 years. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. They're always competitive. They're always in the playoffs. They're always in the dance. And every couple of years, 5, 6, 10, they make it. That's the team I want. Look, the Ravens only won 2 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. Really? But they've been in there almost the entire time with different quarterbacks, different offensive coordinators, different, linebackers, the whole thing. That's what I crave. So if you can start with these young guys, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, all the rest, and if they can start to believe, dude, this is not the old Jets. Because right now, I'm going to tell you, they're thinking it. They're like, how in the world did the bottom fall out so badly on this team? Now, they all know quarterback plays a big, big part of it. And they know that. But you have to believe that they're having those discussions. Is this really what it's like here? No matter how good you are, you just lose. No matter how good you play, you drop the winning touchdown in the end zone at the last minute. Is that what happened? You know what's happening? Is the Jet thing real? So here's what I think. While I disagree with Terrible Takes, what I think is this, that the NFL is so, they're so massive of an organization. There's so much money. Couple that with Vegas, right? And then all the team owners, billionaires. Then all the TV companies, and CBS, who sucks, by the way. Fox, then you got Amazon, now YouTube's in the mix, Google, you got all these massive, massive entities in the mix, in play. The idea that they're just letting it, hey, whatever happens, happens. I like to believe that's the case, but I have a real hard time believing that's the case. And when you look at the Jets season, when they make the schedule, right? The idea of pitting two division rivals against each other at the end is with the desire that, it can be maximum value, right? That they're going to play, win and you're in. Whoever wins is, first and second. They want that to be the case. So with the AFC East, you have the Pats and the Bills. You have the Jets and the Dolphins. This week, the Dolphins are playing the Pats. This whole thing has built up to, you have 8-7 Dolphins, 7-8 Pats and Jets. We're all jumbled up in this mix. That to me looks like the NFL they have their certain ability to control scenarios, whether it's suspensions, whether it's refs, damn well the refs are guided they're told what the narrative is supposed to be. Now, I don't believe they can control all of it, but like they want scenario X to happen. That's what they want. And they put all the things in place that they can to encourage, force scenario X to take place. Now, if scenario X doesn't happen, scenario Z, they know if that doesn't happen, then we go to this and this and this, and this is how we get that in place. And they kind of, in many ways, orchestrate the whole damn thing. Look at all this shit that happened to the Jets this season. The idea that we can get to the last game and have a win in your in against the Miami Dolphins that affects the Pats. Dude, it's crazy that it would work out this perfectly. And that's going around all around the league. It's going on. So it's just interesting to me. I'm thinking about this. It's right. Well, Cassidy, that's kind of what I'm saying. Why you got to simplify? I'm a talker, Cassidy. Cassidy's at work. He's busy. He's like, shut the fuck up, man. Just say it's this. I don't like to do that. I'm a storyteller. I'm a gather round kids kind of guy. I'm Bilbo Baggins, bro. I'm Bilbo Baggins, Cassidy. So anyway, that's what I think. Look at all you guys. This is great. So we got Mike White, dude. Now Mike White's coming in. The coach, Robert Saleh, also said that they're hopeful for LaMarcus Joyner. I don't know how good that is, one way or the other. Like a kind of a hobbled LaMarcus Joyner, is that better than Will Parks or Tony Adams? Or I don't know. I don't really know. So it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, they're heavily influenced games. I should bring Cassidy. People like Cassidy. People want to hear you. I don't want to hear Cassidy. He's going to simplify everything. He say, so what you're saying is this. I don't like that. I like to float around. I'm a dancer. You know what I mean? I don't like to get so simple. I'm not so simple. Right. Cassidy's on fire, though. He's on fire. That's it. Now, another thing, guys. What did you think about all these games? I mean, you want to talk about it. Christmas gift, huh? What do you think about all this stuff? Dude, look at all the things that took place. Now, to the idea that it's all for the Jets, it's hard to fathom because we're the whipping post. You know what I mean? We're the dog that gets kicked. That's who we are in the NFL. But I do think that the value of getting New York in the mix is good. The Giants look like they're in, right? I think they're in. They're maybe not locked up, but they're looking like they're in, even though they lost this week. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be more exciting if the Jets are in, obviously for us. But I think it's a good idea to have us all in there. And I think that now that we have an organization, like you could look at the Jets for years, Mike McCagnon, Adam Gase, Todd Bowles, John Idzik, like the whole NFL is like, all right, they're not even real. if they do slap together something, it's with toothpaste and bubble gum. You know what I mean? Like that's toothpicks and bubble gum. But now it's like you look at our team, whatever warts Joe Douglas might have, or Robert Saleh, or Ulbricht, or whoever, whatever warts they have, you can clearly see that these guys are a different Jets organization. They warrant respect. The whole team is, there's a different vibe about them, a work ethic, a play till the whistle. That's not Jet tendencies, man. At least not over the last bunch of years. So it's going to be, when you look at, like, the Jets could be poised. The Giants too. Dable looks legit, dude. Let's be real here. He's got Wink. I mean, dude, they got some real horses over there. So it looks like, all right, maybe now that the Jets and Giants kind of got their act together again, maybe now they can start to help the cause a little bit. And these games bouncing around, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Right, Richard. We are the bastard child of the NFL, and I'm proud of it. I know that's the thing, Richard. This is abuse response. That's what we're doing. When you start to become proud of how shitty everything is, that's what happens, like in rehabs, Richard. Like when you go to a detox and you walk in a detox and there's 20 patients there, and you walk in and you're all messed up, you ruined your life, and they sign you in and they put you in with the population. And you sit down, they go, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" And you go, "My name's GreenBean. I do heroin." They go, "Oh, yeah." And then with very short order, you start seeing it. It goes, how much? I did a bag a day. Oh, bag a day. Oh my God, I did 10 bags a day. 10 bags a day. I spent $1,000 a day. Oh, what that? Yeah, but I was doing crack and heroin. I robbed my mother. Oh, you robbed your mother? I took a car from the police station. It starts to be a competition of who's fucking worse. It's the truth. Now, you're not doing exactly that, but it's similar. And I'm with you. I feel the same sense of, like, pride about our pain. But Richard, I'm going to tell you real honestly, I think I'd like to just be good. I think I prefer it. I really do. I think I'm ready. Like Braden's saying here, I'm ready to beat the Seahawks. And the truth is all the stuff I'm talking about, the scripted, the rigged, setting up the last game, it's all moot if we go into Seattle and lose. It's over. We got to win. I don't even know if there are any scenarios that are realistic. I mean, how many teams would have to lose? Everybody would have to lose again to make it possible, right? I got to call Nania. Not that I have his number, of course, but I got to let you believe I have his number. How about that? I'm just going to call Nania real quick. I don't have his, I don't have his number. I could DM him, of course, but I've chatted with him, but anyway, let's see what we got here. Oh my God. Look at this. Tua threw some atrocious picks. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to a Miami fan this morning, actually. Not even an hour ago was the last text. Good friend of mine, a doctor from Miami. And he was talking about Tua. And he said, "Hey, bottom, the truth is I would take Tua over Zach any day of the week, though." And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. But Tua's doing just enough to make you think that he might be the guy, so you keep him." But we've seen that shit too, right? I was just talking about it in the podcast this morning. GreenBean's Jets Pod, episode 97, which was released earlier today. I was just talking about David Clowney. Remember David Clowney? They kept David Clowney around for years. He was just never going to make it. But he had the size, he had the speed, he had the build. Like, he had everything you want, and the Jets just kept him around. Remember Mike Westhoff on numerous occasions, but really funny I think it was the Hard Knocks. He was saying, like, my feelings on this guy. Just cut him already. They're like, well, should we keep David? And he's like, cut him. And he was on because he had to coach him the most because he was a fifth wide receiver and the whole thing. So Mike Westhoff was like, how I feel about this guy, dude. He's never going to be anything. I don't care about his size and speed and strength. He sucks. But because of that, you keep him around. So the Tua thing is interesting. Now, I'm not saying he sucks or whatever, but he's kind of that looking like he might be that fool's gold type of a guy. Now, I don't want to talk too much shit because I don't want to jinx us or anything like that. I'm nervous. You know how I am. At least most of you do. I'm spooky. I'm spooked. I get crazy with this stuff. But, I don't know, man. So Zach, at least we kind of know. I mean, I don't know. You look at Sammy down there in North Carolina. I mean, he looks like he's doing all right. Maybe sometimes it takes 5-6 years. Now, the thing is, we're not going to wait here. We're not. We're not going to wait. We're just not, dude. It's funny, Jets fans earlier in the season talking about Geno, we should have never let go. Dude, no Jets fan in there. There's not a single Jets fan on the planet that would wait 9 years for Geno Smith to get good. Look how long it took Geno Smith to get good. Now, he's always had potential, always. And he's had some friggin' good games, man. He's had some really good games. But, you kind of knew this. If you're not going to build around him after he got his jaw broken in our own locker room, it was like, no way. But so a lot of guys do that. They make you think that they're good. But some guys, you give up on so quickly. And look, I mean, Sam's not really doing anything spectacular, but he's winning. So, all right, Jeremy, I see Jeremy. And let me do this super chat real quick, and then I'll bring you on. Okay. All right, there it is. Okay. So Jeremy, Jets Chaos is in his house, as the kids say. In the 90s. Thomas Cahill. What's up, Thomas? Thanks for checking in. He says, Saleh handled the Zach situation very well. Not many could do it. I have to agree. Now, was it perfect? Maybe not. I still think, Thomas, that he really should have pulled Zach in the first Patriots game. The game was so close, and we were just a bunch of dump-offs away from winning that game, in my opinion. And they had Mike White with his helmet on the sideline. And I was of the belief they should just, hey, man, fourth quarter, put Mike White in, see what he can do, because change it up. And then in the second Patriots game, when it was completely lifeless, I thought the same thing. Like last quarter, I thought second half, but last quarter, just change it. Give life to the team. Give the team a chance. And I didn't know how well Mike White would do. But so other than that, I think that you're right. And I even think now, it's funny, Thomas, in the press conference chat on the side, it's madness. There was 1,800 people in there. And it's like the varying opinions are nuts, and some people were even saying, like, why do you even talk about Zach like he's part of the future? Cut it out, cut the shit already. Of course he's going to talk like that. Number one, they're not going to cut him most. I mean, dude, if they cut him and eat that $22 million, I would be blown away. Blown away. Number two, you gotta continue he's on the team. So the idea that we're not going to do, it's just silly to me how people are like, just stop it already. No, he's not going to. So you stop it already. You know what I mean? Let's bring him on. Jeremy has a head full of steam today. He's ready to talk about some stuff. So let's say hello to Jets Chaos. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Big day.
It is a big day, Jeremy. Now, well, very quickly, just with Thomas here, just very quickly, do you think Saleh handled it well as well, or do you think that maybe could have done a better job with the whole Zach thing?
I don't know that there's a better way to go about it. I mean, look, people have got to stop looking at the actual words that come out of his mouth and look at what he's not saying. So, he comes in and says Zach has a, very important big future with the New York Jets. And people are going to say, see, he's going to start with us next year. We're not looking for a quarterback. It's like, no, that's not what he said.
Yeah.
You could define important part of our future any way you want. You know how I define important part of our future? We owe Zach Wilson $35 million over the next 2 years in cap hit if we cut him. So of course he's part of our future. If you cut him, he's 20 million against the dead cap next season and 15 million the season after that. We're stuck with him. We have him because of the money. Even if he rolls as a 53rd guy that's never dressing, he's staying on the team.
Yeah.
And you could define a big role on our team if at this point they're going to end up making him a second string quarterback. That's a big role on a football team, to be the second string quarterback. I think that what he really said was, we're going to evaluate everything each day at the end of each day. Well,
Right.
what that means is nothing's decided. That means it's what you love, GreenBean. Next year, it'll be an open camp competition.
I love some competition. I really do. Yeah, and I think that's best. Now, I'm also, and we could talk about this a little bit today too. I think everybody's getting excited about this. We'll talk about it. While I do want to keep it to, in my own head, I want to stay in the season. I don't want to jump out of the season. Like people, I saw that you did a mock. I don't want to do mocks because and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying for me.
Right.
I don't want to. I want to suck any last little, just like the straw in the bottom of a sips box. I want to see if there's anything in there. I want it because I never get to have it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to enjoy this season. It's like there have been people the last 4 weeks, it's over, and you're miserable the whole time. And I understand that. I've done that. I've been there. I get it. I'm not judging. But for me, I don't want to do that. I want to try to enjoy, like we said, all we want is meaningful games in December. Well, guess what? We're going to be in January, dudes.
Yeah.
We're going to be in January. We have meaningful football in January. I don't think it would have been nicer if we won some of these meaningful games in December. We fucking lost them all. But it's still there, dude. And for a team that's been atrocious and is perpetually rebuilding and now has a really serious head of steam moving forward, we just might have the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. We got 4 Pro Bowlers and 3 alternates and the whole, it's trending in the right way. We dominated the rookie of the week thing, all season. And again, we know that's a fan vote, but again, we can't vote for who's not on the panel. They have to do something to be eligible. So all that stuff means something. So I just want to go into this week and and try my best to enjoy this stuff. But look at this. This is actually the biggest news of the day. This whole Mike White shit pales in comparison to the idea that Mr. Terrible Takes is officially off the Zach Wilson train. This is almost as big as when Jeremy did it. Jeremy was arguing with people and blah, 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 blah. And then one day he just, it's like I was there. We watched the game. He's like, that's it. I cannot defend this any longer. I can't. And I understand that. It's a terrible moment. It really is. But it's also liberating, isn't it? It's freedom. Mr. Terrible Takes will experience.
It's freedom to have an open book.
Right. You're not stuck. It's like once we start to, look, you've dug in, you're defending, and you don't want to lose I get it, man. I do it. But that's funny. And look, I'm not happy that you had to do that. But, the truth is, man, anybody that comes into this offense, anybody from Josh Johnson to Joe Flacco to Mike White to Strebler, anybody who comes in plays better than Zach Wilson. And you see the guys, dude, they're open constantly. And I'm not saying LaFleur is perfect. And I still have big problems with a lot of his choices, scenarios, situational awareness, all those kinds of things. But the truth is, if we have just a competent quarterback, if we had, let's say, who's middle of the roadish, let's just say this year he's kind of closer to middle of the road. But if we drafted Herbert instead of, I know different draft, I know, but let's just say we had Herbert instead of, dude, this team, just everything else is the same, is deep into the playoffs. No questions asked. We have 10 wins already. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting thing. What's up, Rusty Spooner? We see you, man. What was that sound? Was that something on your end?
Yeah, it was my computer telling me an email came in or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll talk about some quarterbacks. Again, I like to keep it to here, but we'll talk about some potential quarterback options. I think it's going to be real big to see if Mike White can stay healthy. Because I think if Mike White never got injured this year, and let's just say we split the last couple of games. So we have 2 wins, and right now we're 8-7 instead of 7-8. Even if that is happening. It's a totally different thing. And you can actually buy into the idea that Mike White is your quarterback. You could, depending on how he's performed and everything. But if he doesn't make it through these next 2 games and, get us into the playoffs, it's impossible to be confident that he's your guy. Like if he gets injured again, no matter the situation, like, oh, but he got killed. Doesn't matter, dude. That would be 5 injuries in 8 games. Right now, he's 4 injuries in 7 games. That's absurd. You know what I mean? Like, that's absurd. Now, nobody's going to say that I couldn't take that hit, that Milano. Dude, that was one of the most perfect tackles I've seen in a decade in the NFL. Form perfect. Sucks it was against our quarterback, but it was perfect. And it was devastating. Now, the fact that he came back is commendable. It really is. It's like, good for you, dude. But still, 4 injuries, 7 games over 2 years is not a good look. And it's virtually impossible to feel confident this is your guy without a serious contingency. And that contingency, I sad to say, I don't think it can be Zach. I don't think it can be. Zach's got to be 3rd string, in my opinion. But so anyway, there was as you guys know, we had an interesting week. So usually what happens when things go poorly, thank you, Super Leroy. I'm sure that's something about what I said. I'm almost certain. But you know how it happens, right? Like, so when it rains, it pours. And people like to jump on the pain train. That's what everybody does. So it comes from all sides. Everybody likes to take an opportunity to jump on things and make it worse, to make it hurt more. Oh, let me get a kick. And then you add to it when there's the potential of clicks, money, exposure, all those things. That's even more so present these days. That's what you see. So when Zach had that bad game, it didn't take 24 hours for an inside scoop to come out from a guy who very rarely breaks inside scoops. He's like the stepchild of the Rappaport Schefter world. You know what I mean? He's like on the side. He's kind of a guy, but he never gets the scoop. As Jay Glazer said, the Jets have, how do you say? The Jets have committed to moving on. They've made their decision. They're done with Zach Wilson, and they will be moving on from him next year. Again, not taking into account that it's a $21 million cap hit if you cut him. None of that matters. The Jets are moving on regardless, and he's got that inside scoop. So, Jeremy, I wanted to get your feelings. You've been talking about it a little bit. And then today we heard something that may or may not support that or unsupported. So what do you think about all that? Did you feel it was a pile on? Was it a cash grab? What was up with the Jay Glazer thing?
Yeah, I think Jay Glazer did what reporters do. Like, he's looking to try to create a story. There wasn't even a source there. What he said was, I made a video, in the video that what I was talking about, I said Captain Obvious, because what did he really do? They benched Zach Wilson for a 4th-string quarterback guy off the practice squad, right? So, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that something is happening, that there's a shift in their thinking, that they now they're willing to bench him. It's no longer about let him keep playing for the future. But we got to, like these guys, he doesn't know anybody in our locker room. Everybody's got to understand. There's very few people who know what goes on behind the door with JD, with Saleh, with Mike LaFleur. There's a handful of those guys who talk about where are we right now, what's our future, and they don't even know our future. They don't even know. Because they got to see Mike White the last 2 games, and let's say he takes us to the playoffs. That's going to change their thinking. Saleh literally said it. We look at the situation day by day. So this thing about I know someone in the building, that's how you know. That's exactly when you don't trust somebody. The moment they say, I know someone in the building, take it with a huge grain of salt. Because guess what? They don't have to name their source, which really is just freedom for the press to lie.
That's right.
So he's just making a story. And we had a lot of YouTube Jets people who jumped all over it.
Dude, Instagram. Are you on Jets Instagram? A lot of you guys are on Jets Twitter, but not everybody's on Jets Instagram. Are you on Jets Instagram, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I don't check it as much, but I'm on it.
Let me see. So Jet's Instagram is funny because it has more graphics. So what we see, I'm just going to pop it up right now and see. I'm just going to quick scroll, and what you see is this. This is out. I don't want to get their name in here, but this is what you see: breaking, or
Ridiculous.
yeah. Usually this is it, breaking, and then there's what's the other one? I don't know. There's other ones, but they're all the same. Everybody jumps in. There's a different graphic. Everybody uses a different graphic. I'll make sure. Now this is obviously the Mike White, but when Jay Glazer said that, there are hundreds. I mean, dude, there's just as many Jets Instagram like report pages, like Jets news pages, as there are Twitter. Like it's insanity. And I follow a whole bunch, not for the news, just because I support guys. I like to do that. But it's funny because it was immediate. It was a bombardment. It was a bombardment. Breaking news, Jake. And then what happens there is then you get the smaller papers, the Jets. What is that one? They pay like $2 an article to anybody.
Okay.
Jet Press, maybe. If I'm wrong,
heavy on Jets. There's a million of them.
Yeah. Like I think it's Jets Press. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but they've reached out. They said they'll give me $2 an article. I said, ooh, that makes me want 500 words. Oh, good, yeah. So if I can write 150 articles, I get $300. So good. But anyway, so they do that. So anybody, all the guys that write for them, and look, they write it and it has Jet Press above it. So you think it's legitimate, but it's not, and with all due respect, I'm not saying anybody shouldn't do that, but that's what you see. And then us out here, we see that shit and you see 100. Oh my God, well, this must be real. And it's not real. Remember last year, Rich Cimini, who was it? Oh, he said that an agent, he was down at the combine. I'm sorry, at the Senior Bowl. And he said, I spoke with an agent, and the agent reports that Berrios could ask for as much as $10 million or $9 million a year. Jets fans went nuts. His agent? It wasn't his agent. It was an agent. Cimini and this agent has no connection to Berrios. They were shooting the shit, smoking a butt outside the Senior Bowl. And they're like, how much do you think Berrios can get? I mean, he could ask for up to $9 million, in my opinion. Oh, great. Boom. Agent says Berrios $9 million, and Jets fans went nuts. We argued about it. Fuck him if he thinks he's worth $9 million. Who the fuck? It was all over the place. And it was not news. It was fun. It's funny on one hand. The other hand is it's incredibly aggravating, because if you don't take the time to whittle back to where it starts and what it really is, you'll have a whole story in your head of what's going on, and none of it even exists. And that's the problem. So with the Jay Glazer thing, now that said, do you think that the Jets have made their decision on Zachy Poo at this point?
I think they made the decision that we've seen them make. It's no longer his job to lose. That's what's happened. We started the year, and like during the whole year, the story was it's his job. It's his job, right? He's not getting benched. It's his job. Then all of a sudden he gets benched, and they said it's a reset, right? And then all of a sudden he's now the second time being benched, right? Getting benched, and now he's not starting. It's not even being called a reset anymore. It's being called we're evaluating every day and putting the best team we can on the field. So look how much has already changed. That has been decided. What I believe has not been decided at all is next year, because they don't know what's going to happen. We still don't know what's going to happen with Mike White in these last two games. What if he is awesome in two games, gets us to the playoffs, and we win a playoff game, and he's great and still continues to average 250 to 300 yards a game, over 60% completion? Like, that's going to change what would happen if he comes in and he stinks, right? And he throws picks, and we lose both of these games. That's a different scenario. So I don't think anything is completely decided. I think the one thing they know, though, is that we're stuck with Zach Wilson, whether it's going to be him competing to be a starter next year, competing to be a second stringer. or he's going to be a QB3 that we have to keep on the roster for financial reasons. He's going to be around. So get used to him.
Now, the only out, and this, and as I sit here and I try to look at the contract, right? So the contract for Zach Wilson, I don't know. And again, I shared this with you guys. I am not strong in the numbers area, right? So I can look at things, I can read things just like anybody else, of course, and I'm not brain dead. But once it goes into like dead caps, June 1st, post June 1st, all the trade, all those kinds of things, I start to get lost in the sauce a little bit. But the way it is right now for 2023, Zach's contract is $9,586,549. That's what he costs if he's on the roster. If we cut him, the dead cap becomes $20,770,856. So that's 21 million where I come from, right? So, and then you also have to think now you have to fill that, even if it's third quarterback, you got to fill that roster spot, and that's another $1 million or whatever, right? So you got to think about that. Yeah. Now, I don't know if we trade him, if you also get that dead cap. Now, over the cap has some interesting options, I think. So look, 2023, if they wait till after June 1st, it could go to $11 million. Oh no, that's just the savings. I don't know. Yeah, well, see again, see what I mean? I see how quickly I got lost. I just looked another line over and I'm like, so point is, no matter how you look at it, financially, you might not be, if you're done with him or not, you may not be able to even consider dumping him. Dude, that $11 million, like from 9 to 21, that's $12 million, right? So that $12 million, dude, that's a guard or that's a tackle. You know what I mean? That's whoever, that's Corey Davis level wide receiver. So whatever position you want to bolster, that's definitely safety money if you want to bring in a good free safety. So you're talking about not being able to do that just because you wanted to cut a guy that you could very easily stuff on and your third. You could even keep him on the freaking practice squad. Let somebody poach him if they want. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Yeah, if we cut him post June 1st, just so you know, it would cost us $15 million instead. And it would be like it would be like a $5.5 million difference in the cap hit.
But again, that's obviously much better. But then you have to think you got to bring in another quarterback, so whatever that costs. But that's minimal, Right. So maybe they do cut him then after June 1st.
But it doesn't let us off the hook for the following year. I don't think so. Like
you know what that looks like?
Yeah, it's the dead money would be 11 million if in 24. So that you can't get away from that. Like even if you cut him this season, you take that hit, but you also take an $11 million hit in 2024. And if we decide to cut him in 2024, post June 1st, it would be still the same 11 million. Oh no, so yeah, like in other words, that's his salary, and that's what it would cost us. So the best we could do is you can cut him post June 1st of 23, pay him 15 million, and then pay him 11 million next year, the year after that, no matter what. And a trade doesn't help you because we paid the bonus. We can't trade away that. We already took that and absorbed that.
Interesting. So you see, guys, there's a lot of hoops here. There's a lot of things to consider, a lot of variables. It's not as easy as, well, he sucks, cut him. Sorry, this is way early in the contract, and you can't just do that stuff. I mean, if you had maybe in years past, like when Joe Douglas had, $40 extra million in cap space, and he said, screw it, I'm taking the hits now. Cut Le'Veon Bell, cut Jermaine Johnson, Anunwa, I'm eating it all now. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because he could. And it's better for the future. But it's not as easy to do that. GM's Island Empire checking in. He says, happy holidays, fellas. Well, happy holidays to you, man. Where's the Zach Truthers at? The O-line has to take care of business to protect their leader, Mike F. and White. Yeah, I mean, look, you saw Zach Truther, Mr. Terrible, came in and said he's off the train. It's hard. Here's the thing. that my take is GM Island Empire. I think one of the reasons that people stay in their position so long is because they know there's going to be backlash when they come out, if they do, right? So I try not to do that too much, like to kick them, say, see, motherfucker, you were. I like not to do that, but I guess that's part of the fun. And but a lot of people are still out there. They're still out there, but a lot of people are gone because there's nothing to talk about anymore. You know what I mean? What else can you say, man? You know, like there was the argument last week in the Jacksonville game that they're not calling the right play. You know, when they put Streveler in, they used a different style offense. Well, of course, because Streveler can run the RPO and take hits and all that. So it's a little different, of course. But there was even plays like just passing plays. He's just dumping it off when Zach wouldn't, or he's hitting the guy. Now, if it was funny, somebody said in the chat, Streveler when he throws the ball, it looks like he's throwing a meatball. And it really does. I mean, he hits. I couldn't have fucking said it better. I'm like, it does look like a meatball. That one pass, end over. He's like, whoa, he's throwing a ball of meat. But yeah, I mean, he's clearly. I mean, and who knows? It's his first start. There's a lot on the line. Like, get the team back. There's a lot there. Maybe he would settle down and be better. Who knows? But the eye test is he's not really the guy either. But that's kind of the last argument. It's like, well, LaFleur is different plays for. But when you really remove all of that, you just look at it, there were open guys. Sometimes Zach saw them and threw it and was way off. Sometimes he didn't even see them. And they're right there. And he can't see them for whatever reason. There were other times that he zeroed in on a guy, didn't even think to look around the field, and guys were rushing in. They crushed him without him even knowing, because he's not scanning the field or going from first option to second option. He's not progressing through his reads, all that stuff. So the arguments, whatever arguments you had, if they weren't based in emotions, they're gone. That game, dude, he had 92 yards in 3 quarters. Streveler came in and had 91 yards in 2 drives, 1 drive, whatever the hell it was. And again, am I saying Streveler looks great? But no, that's how poorly Zach was really playing, dude. And it's like, and you got to know, that's for your life. That's your career on the line. That's what we saw. It's like there's a Rick and Morty episode. I don't know if you guys watched this, where Rick goes and grabs his son-in-law and drags him in the car and in the spaceship, and they're flying around. And he's like, I know what this is, Rick. I know. And he goes, what? He goes, oh, I thought it was an execution. He goes, execution? You thought I was going to kill you, and this is how you're reacting? Like, if, like, this is what you want. We get to see, this is your reaction to thinking somebody's going to murder you. So it's the same kind of a thing. There's not even any fight. It's like, and his press conference to me was really telling. And it was sad. And I have to say, I said it before, I'll say it again. I sincerely feel bad bad for him. I do. I feel bad. I feel bad for us, of course. I just want a damn quarterback. Why can't we just have one? But aside from that, it's a human being right there. And in his press conference, he just said, I don't know. I'm trying to get something. I'm not able to find a rhythm. I can't do it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what he said in so many words. And you feel for that person. It's like, I don't know, guys, I'm trying. Like, I don't know what the problem is. Clearly, I've been doing this my whole life. Clearly, I have all the talent, the arm strength. Is none of those things. I don't know why. I suck. I don't know what to tell you. And I feel for that person. You know what I mean? So, and it sucks for us because, dude, how many times are we going to try to get a quarterback? I am of the belief, guys, I am of the belief that we really should not take a young quarterback and just throw him in and try to develop him in front of everybody's eyes. It just doesn't work here. Not for the Jets. Maybe even the Giants could do it. Not us. Not unless they're like the best quarterback ever and they have the mental fortitude of Hercules. Like, I don't know. I just don't think I don't think it's a good idea. I would rather just go get a vet, somebody that's been around the NFL, been through the ups and downs, is developed. Even if they're not great, just get a vet in here and let them just run the offense. That's what I think. Do you agree, Jeremy, or would you like to see him go rookie route again? Where do you stand on that?
No, I want to just see what happens, and I don't think we can really go the rookie route, because again, it's such a roll of the dice. It's like it's either going to be what we have on the roster or bringing in someone a little bit more proven, so we know like the minimum of what we're going to be getting. Like the worst we're going to get is this, and we're going to have an answer and say this is the worst that it's going to be, but it's not going to be a chance that it's completely incompetence and we don't have anybody competent.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, like the Mike White thing. It could be good. Now the injuries, like we talked about. So guys, there's a poll in the chat. I put a poll in there, and we'll transition into that a little bit. So obviously, we're excited about Mike White going into the last 2 games of the season. He gives us a chance. The team has rallied behind him. Now, long-term answer, I don't think we have to get to long-term answer right now. But for shits and giggles, I put it in the poll. There are obviously more options, but these are the 4 names I'm hearing. I almost put Jordan Love in there as an option because that's one as well. But you got Gardner Minshew, you got White, you got Aaron Rodgers, interestingly enough, and you have Jacoby Brissett. I almost put Jimmy G, but I don't know. I didn't. So which one do you think is most likely out of that group? And let's see what the poll thinks. Now, me, Jeremy, I have to be honest. I'm really starting to like this idea of Gardner Minshew. He's an unrestricted free agent after the year. He has a career 63% completion percentage. He's got 43 touchdowns and 14 picks over his career. He's a little bit small, a little bit wackadoodle, but I think that type of a guy, he's got the energy, he's got the moxie, he's got the experience. He's clearly been successful in the NFL. I think that guy in this team right now, imperfect, I think if he just gave us what he's given, I think we're a winning organization. How do you feel about Gardner Minshew?
I like him. Look, I don't look so much at size and these other things that people find, and my argument to that is like DJ Reed, right? He's too small to be a cornerback. He can't be a boundary cornerback, and we have ourselves who I think should have been a Pro Bowl cornerback. So I don't get mixed up in that too much. I look at Minshew's production. He played on a crappy Jacksonville team his rookie year, and before he got hurt the year after that, and the production is impressive. 65% completion percentage on a crap team. Like, how many times do we see teams like us using it as an excuse when a rookie quarterback is bad? Well, look at our team. We have a crappy team around them. We're not giving him a chance. Gary Minshew didn't need that excuse because he put up a 65% completion percentage. He threw more touchdowns than interceptions. I mean, imagine this guy on a good team, and we saw against with the Eagles on Sunday. It wasn't perfect, but for us, that would be a lot more competent than we've had. So, I wouldn't mind taking him and bringing him into camp. I like him, and I think that if that's the bottom level that we could go at quarterback, I think we're in good shape for that as a bottom.
Yeah, I would seriously, honest to God, like obviously the Eagles are going to want him back, in my opinion. They're going to say, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars. You'd be quarterback too. And he might be like, what was that guy's name? I forget his name in Miami. He got starting. What the hell was his name? Matt something. He got starting offers to be starter. And he just said, nope. And he signed with the Dolphins and he stayed their backup for X amount of years. He's like, fuck it. I can make another $1 million and be ridiculed and ripped. And I'll just stay here and hang out. And every now and then I'll come in, I'll throw. He was good too. He's a very good quarterback, but he just chose to be a backup. I don't see that in Gardner Minshew. I think if he got a starting opportunity, I think he would jump at it. So you have the Eagles. I think some other teams, Indianapolis Colts might go for him, some other teams like that. But I think if you make a healthy offer to him, like, hey, dude, 3 years, whatever, 10, 12 million a year kind of a thing, maybe incentives, maybe accelerators, things like that. I think you get it done. You bring the guy in and you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting, and you just build the offense, being confident. You don't have to develop anybody. You don't have to think about that. You know what you're getting, and you just develop the best possible offense to make this guy succeed. And that I think LaFleur can do. That I think he can do. And I would be excited about it. I say do it, man. You know you got Zach Wilson. They're predicting, Spot Track, I think, is predicting Mike White to be able to command $5 million this year. The injury thing's killing him. Now, if he takes us deep into the playoffs, whole different story. If he makes it the next 4 games kind of a thing and, gets us deep in the playoffs, obviously things will change. But where it stands right now, that's what they think. That's what they're predicting for him. So you could legitimately consider bringing in Gardner Minshew, keeping Mike White, and keeping Zach Wilson, and letting that be. And you could keep Strebler too. Again, just stick Zach on the practice squad, dude. If somebody wants to poach him, let him poach him. Just develop him on the practice squad for the next 2 years. If he makes a turn and whatever, you need him, great. If not, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? And then your stable looks like Gardner Minshew, Mike White, and Chris Strebler. And I think that's pretty damn good when you got guys like Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, and everybody else running around the team. I think it's a pretty damn good place to be. So Johnny P, sorry to make you wait so long, buddy, but thank you. He says, super excited to possibly make the playoffs. Huge game for White. Hope he tears it up, but fear his perf gets worse each game. His perf, Jeremy, tell me what that is. And too overrated. Lufug. Let's effing go. So what is it? I fear his performance.
His performance gets worse each game, and he's too overrated. I don't know that he's too overrated. I think that a lot of us, and a lot of people, maybe some people overrate him. But when we get excited about Mike White, we're not sitting there saying, "Oh, we have a great quarterback." It's how low the bar has been set. That's what we're comparing it to. The difference between Zach Wilson and Mike White, whether Mike White is great or not, or good or not, it doesn't matter. It's a huge difference because right now, for whatever reason, I'm not trying to be mean and throw stones at him, Zach Wilson is not able to do it. And Mike White, while not perfect and not the greatest option or the dream quarterback, certainly is able to play at an NFL level because we've seen it. He's thrown for over 900 yards in 3 games. That does not happen by accident. That's right. And that Jeremy said it perfectly. Like, I think people get it twisted. Like, oh, now you think Mike White's a world beater. You think, no. It's not what we're saying. There are some people out there saying that, but they're a handful. Generally speaking, what Jets fans, and I'll speak from my position here, what we're saying is the offense is talented enough. Now, yes, we have offensive line issues and everything, but it's got enough talent on it. And we've seen it all year that if we can just get average or slightly above average quarterback play, we have a chance in any game. Our defense is very, very good. They can keep us in. Up until recently, our special teams were very, very good. So we have a lot of components on this team that if we just have a mistake-free quarterback and that he can be effective, like Jeremy said, 300 yards a game, you don't just accidentally get to 300 yards a game fucking 5 times, or whatever it is. You don't just do that by mistake. So he's able to do that. The team loves him. So if that's all we're saying, we just want to have a chance to compete. It's like one of the things that I had a problem with continuing to develop Zach Wilson. One of the issues I had, while I'm supportive of giving a quarterback time, is that we were unable to see Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Michael. We couldn't see those guys at all, and we couldn't see the offense because we literally were going 3 and out. Like that's what we were doing. So you can't see anything else. And that's a problem. And we started to see that become a problem when the players could no longer contain their angst. They were starting to literally stomp their feet on the field. They couldn't handle it anymore. I'm wide open. The ball's fucking 5 yards over my head. Like, what is this, dude? And that's what we started to see. So I don't think we're talking about Mike White being Aaron Rodgers in his prime. We're just talking about having a competent quarterback for once. I think it's not too much to ask, dude. Why do we have to have the bottom 3 quarterback every year? What is that? Even when it was Sanchez and Geno Smith, dude, Sanchez was number 1 in turnovers for like 3 straight years. We started Geno Smith and he was number 1 in turnovers. Like, it can't be. It's why?
How can it be? They're completely different men, dude. How can it be? So that's all we're saying. We just want to have a quarterback. That's why I think people valued Fitzpatrick so much, because not only did he break records for us, but it was like, okay, even if he's not that good, if he could just be average, like that's our bar is so low. And that's what it is. That's why, like, I wouldn't want Gardner Minshew in real world, but where we are, I love him. I think he's the best.
That's why it's so funny when people, like, when you say Jimmy G or Derek Carr even, and people say, "Ugh, not good enough," blah blah blah, and I'm like, not good enough. It's like, what team have you been watching? Like Derek Carr, not good enough. Okay, maybe he's not a world beater. Maybe he's not elite. Maybe he doesn't have Super Bowl rings. But who have we had on our team at quarterback that would make you say, "Oh, I don't want Derek Carr"? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's the truth. I wanted to say Sully reminding us that Modine wipes back to front. That's very, very important to know. And like, yeah, Modine, let me just say this, bro. I let you hang in here, but if all you're going to do is like purposely look for unique ways to try to hurt feelings, I'm just going to bounce you, bro. Like I've kind of had it. You know what I mean? I get the joke. I understand. I'm not one to quickly pull the plug, but I'm there. Just, you want to be constructive, but you're on the realistic side, that's fine. But if you're just looking for new fun ways to fucking appease whatever weird fetish you have, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Okay, so there's that. Now, my Egerton is saying interesting, and I agree with this. Mike White's injuries are not inevitable. Broken ribs, sprained finger, they're not chronic issues. Like I get it, and I have actually used that argument. The problem is, Egerton, and this is where the concern comes in. If you do that twice, sure. 4, not in 2 seasons, in 7 games, bro. You know what I mean? So it's not that he's got that chronic issue, but he does have an injury prone sort of situation going on. Maybe it's a finger this week. Maybe it's a concussion next week. Maybe it's his ankle the week after that. But there's something there that is definitely worthy of concern. That's, I think, the point. I think, dude, if Mike White just doesn't get injured, I honestly believe this staff would be fine. I think that. I think they're like, fine, he's good enough. And like somebody said before in one of the streams, I said, Mike White, it's not like Mike White's going to get any better. You know what he is. I disagree wholeheartedly. All he's gotten was 7 games. Like, you're going to tell me that if Mike White started for a full season, he's not going to improve, dude? Where do we come from with these arguments, dude?
They think it's because he's 27 and he's been around for 5 years.
Right.
But that doesn't replace reps in the NFL.
I know, exactly, dude. How about comfort? How about rapport? All those things. It's like, that's it. We're so black and white around here. It's nuts. When you look at it, dude, of course he would get better, man. Reps.
Well,
Alien face.
He did get better, by the way. Like
from last
year to this year, he did get better.
100%. 100%, dude. Last year, he was called a check down Charlie. He's not a check. He doesn't have that moniker anymore. Why? Because he improved with the mid to downfield passing. Dude, his accuracy was impressive, man. Yeah. It was impressive. And it surprised a lot of us, myself included. Like, oh, wow, look at that. And they did it once. And I said, oh, okay. And then after 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, you're like, holy shit, he can actually do this.
Yeah.
This is real.
We did everything we could. Dom C came and picked out a bunch of his plays, like good plays, bad plays, medium plays, broke down. We looked at the film. You couldn't rip this kid apart. I mean, like every play, it was like he was making decent decisions. Not always the best decision, but good decisions, decisive decisions. His accuracy was there. There was nothing that we could really tear apart watching the film, that said, oh, this guy can't do it or can't be good. We couldn't find a single thing wrong with him when you watch the film.
Right. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing. Dude, if it wasn't for the injuries, even though he's imperfect, even though he's not Patrick Mahomes, if he just stayed healthy, I'm confidently going to say we would have won some of the games we lost. But in addition to that, I think unless he had just a complete fall off a cliff, like a la Zach Wilson type of, stretch, I think that the Jets would be like, that's our guy. That's what I think. I think that's where he is. So Alien Face checking back in. Thanks, Alien Face. I appreciate your presence. And your presence. So thank you. Zach Wilson's favorite quarterback growing up was Aaron Rodgers. He even modeled his game after A-Rod. Unsuccessfully, I might add. So who better than A-Rod to bring in as our starter next year? He can serve as a mentor to Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback 1, Mike White, quarterback 2, and Zach Wilson, quarterback 3. I will say this, that would be the most expensive quarterback collection in the NFL. I would say that. Now, I think theoretically, it really is a great scenario. And I know what you're like, I see what you're going for. And again, I think it's really makes a lot of sense. It really does. Not only because, look, you give Aaron Rodgers the weapons that we have. He's an MVP level quarterback. Now he's having a down year, but it's a down year. The quarterbacks play for, many more years than where he is. So, theoretically, he could be a very successful quarterback in here, if not even like world beater level with Garrett Wilson and the rest. But in addition to that, like you're saying, if Zach Wilson does have a chance in this world, maybe being behind Aaron Rodgers for the next 2-3 years could be exactly what the doctor ordered. And that makes a lot of sense. Now, Jeremy might pull it up, but interestingly, his contract is interesting because for the Packers to trade him, let me just show you guys this. It's the most ridiculous thing you're ever going to see, okay? If you haven't looked at this yet, you got to see it. It's just the strangest thing. Now, Alien Face, I'm going to take your chat off just so we can see this. But look at this. So, all right. So here's his 2022 salary. His base salary is $1.1 million. He got a $27 and change million prorated bonus. Okay. So his guaranteed salary is only $1.1 million, but his cap number with the bonus is $28 million. If they cut him, his dead cap money, Jeremy, is $128 million.
Well, that's this year's over. We go to next year. The one under.
Okay, so let's go next year. It's only you get a massive savings, truly, but you're still up here in the $99 million range. Even if it's post June 1st. Now again, trade. I don't know what the deal of trade. Let's do trade pre June 1st. So it doesn't help, Jeremy. See this?
Yeah, they're absolutely stuck with him. I don't know if if that's against his will trade, and if he might be allowed to negotiate things. I don't know.
Well, essentially, what that is, it's very close to a no trade clause, right? So there's a lot there. He does not. If you're going to trade me, it's going to look like this for you. I don't want to sign this contract and then be controlled by you. You know what I mean? It's kind of what he's saying. Now, look, post June 1st. It does go down to $30 million, but that only seems cheap because we just saw the numbers that we saw. $30 million dead cap is exorbitant, right? Like, make no mistake. But look at this. So this one is interesting. 1.215 dead cap, but his cap number is still $31 million. Now, if you got Aaron Rodgers for 2023 at $31 million, and then next year he's $40 million, then he's $60 million. Do you see this ridiculousness?
Yeah.
That you have to add that to this number alone. You got to add Zach's $9 million, $9.1 million. So now we're talking $40 million for our quarterback. Then you got, if you did want Mike White, I don't think Mike White could be a part of this equation. I really don't, because he's going to want $5-6 million, whatever it is, to stay, because he's going to get some interest. He is.
Oh yeah. Especially
if he stays healthy for the next few games, right? It'll just be looked at as like hey, you got a bad luck streak. Like Egerton said, it's a finger, it's a ribs. Of course, no, he's not an injury guy. He just had a string of bad luck, no sweat. But do you see how crazy this is? It doesn't seem real to me. Like, you would have to work something out with the Packers that they pay some of this. They like it. Now, if they're confident enough in Jordan Love, like, look, dude, this is the organization. It's not the previous organization that traded up in the first round to get Jordan Love. They traded up in the first round to get him. So they loved him. Now, he's been sitting there for the last 3 or 4 years, whatever, behind Aaron Rodgers in their system, simmering, developing. Matt LaFleur has been working on him he could be exactly what Aaron Rodgers was behind Brett Favre for this organization. Now, if they don't want to lose him, they might consider eating $20 million of Aaron Rodgers' contract, and Aaron Rodgers might be willing to renegotiate or whatever. All those things can happen. But you got to think, why would they give him a 5-year extension worth $213 million if they were that confident in Jordan Love? See what I'm saying? But then maybe Jordan Love is the guy. You know what I mean? Like Jordan Love, again, he's been sitting with Mike LaFleur's brother, Robert Sala's best friend, for the last 3 years. Sitting there, developing. He could be perfect guy to come in here. Now, it's scary taking a swing on that guy, but maybe you only got to throw him a 3rd-round pick or 2nd-round pick. Who knows? Something like that. I don't know. You guys see this shit, though? It gets crazy when you start talking about A-Rod, man. Anyway, so that's what that one looks like. I'm going to check the poll in a second. I got to get a different hat, Jeremy. I was sweating.
Okay.
Let's just go with this
So
one.
Mickey Blanco.
Huh?
No, he's so. I was reading the super chat.
Oh, okay. Let's go Mickey Blanco. That what us Puerto Rican Jets fans call him, from Brooklyn, New York City. Let's Mickey Blanco. It's funny. I like that. I didn't know you guys called him that. Let's go Mike is going to lead us to the playoffs. Well, Chris Style, thank you for the super chat. And yeah, man, I'm with you. Mickey Blanco it is. Is it Mickey effing Blanco?
Mickey effing Blanco.
What's the word for the F word in Puerto Rican, like in Spanish? What is, I know what asshole is. I know what a few other.
I know in Italian I know it, but
what is it? Say it.
Fungu.
A fungul, hey, a fungul. That's right. Okay, good. But Chris, yeah, I think
Mickey Blanco.
What? Mickey Fungal Blanco. What's the abbreviation for fungul? Is it how do you say F in Italian? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Effe, right? Mickey Effe Blanco. Maybe. I like this, Chris. That's pretty good. Mike White's injury. I'm sorry, Egerton. Thank you. He says Mike White's injuries are not chronic. Oh, yeah. Look, I got to your regular comment, buddy. Thank you, though. But yeah, and I maintain that it's a very good point. And I think depending on what happens, like let's say hypothetically, best case, Mike White throws for 3 bills, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. We win both games. We get into the playoffs and we win one. That happens. And he's healthy throughout that. And then wherever we lose, he makes it to the end and we just lose the game. Mike White's going to be a commodity. And the Jets are going to need to make a decision. They're going to need to be the team that pays him 15 plus. They're going to. Because somebody else is. I'm going to tell you right now if that happens. Because like what you're saying, the injuries are not chronic. So you could certainly chalk it up to, dude, he got his finger banged on a helmet. And he got completely crushed by Matt Milano, came back in the game, was a warrior. Like, you're right. That said, still 4 injuries in 7 games. It's not good. So let's see what happens. Obviously, I am rooting for Mickey Blanco, for Mickey Fungal Blanco to make it through these 2 games to great success. I want to win them. I want the Pats to lose a game. And I want the Jets to make it to the playoffs. I don't give a shit about anything else. I want our players to be healthy. I want Mike White to make it. I want to win the games. I want the Pats to lose. And I want to get into playoffs. And then everything else can start from there. Again, it's a hard reset on the season. Everybody's 0-0. And we're all in the same pool. And anything can happen when that happens. Look, the Bengals did it last year. We did it in 2009. Did it anything? We didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but we make a lot of noise. And I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I gotta say, if we could get into that Miami game, and obviously it's looking like if we win, it'll happen for us. Like that Miami game will be not just win gets in, but loser goes home. And I
Right.
want to say the beautiful part about that would be New England would already be eliminated, right? In this scenario, we'd be eliminating Miami, and
Yeah.
we would be
And the
throwing
Pats, by the way.
right. The Pats would be eliminated. We'd be eliminating them and Miami in one crushing blow. So,
Could there be a
how
better
good
scenario?
that would feel if we pass both New England and Miami this year.
Dude, that is a fantastic point. Like, guys, it's obviously everything, if nothing else was present, just winning and getting in is more than enough. But it's not only that, it's pushing both the Patriots and the Dolphins out. That is the amazing thing. Now, wait, if the Dolphins win two more, though, like if the Dolphins win out, well, if they win out,
They
they
can't because they play. They can only
Right,
win
you're
one
right.
more.
You're absolutely right.
Now,
Yeah.
there might be a mathematical calculation if the Chargers lose out and everything happens perfectly.
Yeah.
That there might still be a chance that Miami and the Jets go. That's why I say if it means Miami goes home, because I don't know that there's a chance. I think mathematically we could both go, but that's very unlikely. That's very unlikely. I mean, the most likely scenario, if we win against Seattle, the most likely scenario and the reality is going to be the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets are both going to need that last game to go to the playoffs.
Right. That's a fantastic. That's fantastic. I like that. Fantastic. I like that a whole bunch. I really do.
It'd be so beautiful to
That's
just
so. Rusty Spooner checking. He says, "Mickey mierda blanco." Blanco is Mike F and White in Spanish. Mierda. Now I saw another one.
French.
Maybe there's a couple.
French is mied, so that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I think Knobcraft is helping us out. He's got another. There might be more than one way to do it. Where was it, Knobcraft?
My fucking white in Spanish.
Oh, here it is, Knobcraft. Okay, he says Mickey Pinche Blanco. Pinche? Is that another one? What is he saying? What is that?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh, it just sounds good.
I think it's funny if that's what it is. Like if pinche is the word for
Pinche.
I think that's funny.
We're gonna get banned. Like, you said there was no profanity in this. I'm like, pinche, mierda, fangul. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
A pinch of salt.
That's great. So who was it? M. Morris says, you think we have more talent than Green Bay right now? Offensively, yeah, except for the running backs are studs, of course. But yeah, of course I do. I do.
Yeah. Why not? I think we have a ton of talent. I think the only thing that fell apart on us is the quarterback position. A lot of people keep saying, yeah, but it was the run game also. But again, we'll go back to Dom C because that's our expert guy. But Frankie said the same thing, and a lot of people trust him. We'll go what Frankie says. If the other team is putting 8 guys in the box and saying, we're going to force you to beat us with the pass, what the reason they're doing that is because they're saying no one's going to run against a team that has 8 guys in the box. So it's up to the quarterback to force them to stop doing that by passing the ball.
That's correct. Now look, technically speaking, you would like to, even when that happens, you'd like your offensive line to be good enough to, doesn't matter, blow through them anyway. Of course, but we're not there.
Right.
That's not where we are. We are not good enough to overcome that.
Right. But that's like Philadelphia kind of stuff.
Right. And if our offensive line was the offensive line that we hope to go into the season with, if Becton and AVT were still here, maybe, dude, maybe. But we're playing Herbig and Tom, we're playing Dwayne Brown instead of George Fant on the left side. It's like there's a whole bunch of stuff. And I think we've done a damn good job considering. I really do. That's not to say that they don't have issues. Of course they do. But dude, with the myriad injuries that this offensive line has gone through, the fact that they are still playing at even a level where they are, and I haven't checked in a few weeks to see where they are. Maybe they've dropped all the way to 32. I don't think so. But yeah, man, I think that a quarterback that can get the ball out quickly, in 3 seconds or under, I think is going to do well most of the time here right now. That said, when you bring 8 to 9 guys in the box, there were times we were counting 9. Had 9 guys in the box. How the hell are you supposed to beat that when they do not respect your quarterback, dude?
Yeah,
they don't care.
Look, anytime we did 12 personnel, or 21 or 22, any kind of personnel like that, they would put 9 in the box. The only way we could force them to only have 8 in the box is we had to play an 11 personnel to get 3 receivers out there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now, Jeff Otis Brown, this is a great point. I actually, I didn't say this, but I was having a conversation and we landed on this just yesterday. A few years ago, and like he said, 20 years ago, Mike White doesn't even miss a game with this friggin' rib bullshit. They tape him up and he goes out there and he plays. Now, right or wrong, I don't know, maybe he takes one hit and he dies. You know what I mean? A rib pierces his lung. We don't know, but it's a good point. So the injuries might not even be what they're making them out to be right now. Like he's ready to go. He feels great, but the doctors aren't clearing him. That kind of stuff. And it's a good point, Jeff. I really do. All right, a couple more here. Chris Styles, Mike. Typo. Mikey Blanco. Yeah. I went right with it too. Mickey Vangu Blanco. Yeah, it's good. Mikey Blanco. I like it. So, all right. So let's look at this poll here, Jeremy. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Let's see what it says. Let's see what happens when it pops up here. It doesn't pop up on StreamYard. Nope. Okay. So we got, Mike White with 54%. So a lot of you guys are hoping best case scenario out of this group anyway is Mike White. Aaron Rodgers came in second with 27%, and Gardner Minshew took third place with 16%, and then Jacoby Brissett only had 1% of the vote. That's an interesting one. Now, maybe if I put Jordan Love, maybe I put Jimmy G, we would have gotten some different results. But again, there's a lot of options out there. But I really do believe that the vet option is the one to go with this year. I do not think, you can draft whoever you want, but putting them in as the starter right away, I think is a huge mistake. Maybe Arizona, whoever, Seattle, whatever. Not here. Not now. Not this organization. It's too fragile. Everything going on. The fan base is too wound up. We've fucking too long. We've been in pain. Are we crossing the line? In my opinion, yes. But you can't, when you got a guy who's been tortured for 12 years, you never know what he's going to do. So that's kind of how I see it. But yeah, man. So guys, we have the opportunity to get into the playoffs. Amazingly, it's not even that difficult. We just need the Pats to lose 1, and we need to win the last 2, getting us to a 9-win season, our first winning season since 2015. It's a lot, but it's not a lot by what it could be. You know what I mean? Tonight, it's very important that we root against the Chargers, guys. That creates another avenue for us to get in if things kind of get muddy over here on the other side. So it's a good thing to do. With all that said, we're going to go ahead and bounce on out of here. Let me see what I want to do here. I want to thank us. Andy says, didn't vote for him, but Brissett. Dude, Brissett would be fine here. I don't love Jacoby Brissett, but let me tell you, he'd be good. What he has offered is better than what we've seen. And I don't love him, but again, he'd be better than what we've seen. Real quick before we go, Dom C. Hey, Dom, checking in. He's home with the flu. He's going to break down Gardner Minshew, all 22 for you guys. Early take. He ain't it. Just my opinion. Whatever, Dom. See, now that he knows that, he's going to skew the information. He's going to find the stuff, guys. He just told us. So know it. Just know it. When you're consuming his sandwich that he made, just remember there's selected ingredients. You got to know that. That said, Dom, I hope you feel better, buddy. I'm kind of still dealing with it. I've been sick for days. This one got us over here. Now my son and my wife has it. So my daughter and I had it first. But anyway, guys, that all said, have a great rest of the week. Again, dude, we're in it. We're in it. We're alive. And that's worthy of being happy about. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and go Jets. Thank you, Jeremy, for being here. Go Jets, everybody. Jets, Jets, Jets.